Hey guys, it's Chowder, and I'm finally back with some new content. So I moved into my new place about a month or two ago, and I've finally gotten around to getting some good lighting and having a cool background, so I finally feel kind of comfortable making videos. Unfortunately, my talking has awoken the terror bird, so I'm sorry if you can hear her in the background screaming bloody murder. She's mad at me for locking her in the room while I'm out here having fun. So I asked you guys on Twitter and Instagram to ask me some questions so that I can try out my new set and stuff. And you all came up with a lot of questions. I'm gonna try to answer them all. A lot of them were repeats, so we're gonna try to put everybody's in. I'm gonna try. That's the key word, try. So first of all, to make it a little bit easier on me, I'm gonna take the paws off. So the first question I got is, how did I get into the furry fandom? Honestly, long story short, I found these really cute animations back in 2010 of Warrior Cat spoofs that people did. So I read the books and I was into Warrior Cats, and I drew cats a lot, and it seemed like everybody in that little community had a persona. So I was like, okay, I'll make one too. So I made a persona, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't that big a thing. I wasn't really conscious of it. It just kind of happened. Second question is, what kind of videos do I want to make? I kind of want to make videos about me talking about stuff, you know, topics, and kind of sitting here chilling with you guys. I do want to go out and go hiking and cool stuff like that in suit and make some cinematic edits and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. But for now, we're just gonna sit here and talk and kind of build up to that kind of stuff. So the next question is my top 3 favorite makers and what characters I would want from them. Personally, I like all the makers. You know, if you can make a suit, that's amazing. I've tried before and it's really hard, and I quit halfway through every time. I have a lot of favorite makers, but I would have to say that Hound's Teeth is one of my top 3, definitely. I love their shapes, and I would really like to get my main persona Phantom made from them. I feel like they fit his style really well, and I feel like they'd make a really good suit out of him. Secondly, I'd love to have a suit from Mochiri Works. I don't really have a character picked out. Maybe my alien character Tarkin would look good in their style, but I really love there's a train. Why does there have to be a train? It's 10 o'clock at night and my bird is screaming and a train is going by. If I got one of my characters made of them, I would probably want my alien character Tarkin. I think that he would look really good in their style, but I love their pre-mades. I don't really have a third favorite maker because I guess I choose makers on what characters I would want from them, and those are really the only 2 that I've ever considered actually buying a suit from. Next question is, who made my suit? So Rome actually made my suit. They aren't really present in the fandom anymore, and I actually have had a hard time finding them, but I am for sure that they made my suit, and I'm pretty sure that they made this suit as well. So the next 2 questions kind of tie in together, so I'll do those at the same time. It's, what advice do I have for young furs, and what age do I think you should get your first fursuit? Honestly, if you're young, younger than 18, I would honestly try to stick with your age group, especially if you're under 16. I wouldn't really try to be really good friends with or interact with 18 and plus year olds, just because the adults partake in adult acts. A lot of them do, some of them don't. And, you know, your maturity level will change as you get older, and some adults don't really want to be around kids. So don't take it offensively. You will grow and you will become more mature, and adults will want to be around you when you're an adult. I know, because when I was a kid, you know, I was really immature like kids are, and adults would kind of brush me off, and I was like, excuse me, that's kind of rude. But, you know, generally speaking, stay around your age group and you should be really good. That's where I made some of my lifelong friends that I'm still friends with now, was when I was 13, and we kind of matured together and grew up together. And I think that's good advice. I definitely think as a young furry you should focus on whatever your art is. Most people in the furry fandom are some type of artists. Some make videos, some make fursuits, some make art, you know, drawing. So it just depends, and I would say stick with it if you're young, especially with drawing. You know, you're gonna start out bad. That's just how it is. The more you do it, the better you'll get, and I can speak from experience. I think you should definitely be 18 before you consider getting a fursuit. One, because at that point you're most likely grown as you're gonna be, height-wise. Two, because at that point most people have a job and it's really satisfying to pay off your own suit. And the third big reason is because a lot of makers will not take minors. There's been a lot of scams recently with minors stealing their parents' money and stuff to buy suits, so a lot of makers just avoid that in general. I would say if you're under 18 and you want a suit, definitely try to make your own. Like I said earlier, they're not really easy to make and your first one won't be perfect, but definitely stick with it and maybe you can make that your profession. Next question is, what's my favorite part of my fursuit? I really like Chowder's hand paws. I really hate hand paws with a passion, like the 5-finger hand paws, like the ones that look like a glove. I really don't like them because they look too human-like, and the fingers always look like big sausages. But Chowder's fingers are really short, and when I wear them they only really come up to right here, and I really like the look and feel of them. I was honestly, when I was paying him off, I was gonna almost immediately get feral hand paws because I love feral hand paws, but I actually really like these and I think they suit him very well. Next question is, do I have a favorite fursuit prop, and is there any props that I would want? I have two favorite fursuit props. One is my Curlworks rawhide bone. I can't really put it in Chowder's mouth because it's so little, but I like carrying it around. It kind of helps people identify me as a dog instead of a bear. And I think it's really cool that it looks like an actual rawhide bone. My second favorite prop is this lei that my best friend gave me. They live in Hawaii, and this is the first package they sent me, and I've known them since I was 12, so it means a lot to me, and I really like it on Chowder. Next questions are, what made me want to fursuit and what are my favorite things about fursuiting? I kind of stumbled into the fandom, like I said earlier, so people had suits and I thought it was so cool and I really wanted one. And originally I wanted a cool really big dragon with foldable movable wings on the back and a really big movable tail, and I thought a lot about it as a little kid and I was drawing it. It wasn't a character, I just wanted a cool suit. But I think my favorite thing about fursuiting is seeing people's reactions and kind of getting to hide who I actually am, because I'm in a big animal costume. I get to be and do whatever I want to be. So it's really freeing for me because I'm really socially awkward, so it kind of helps me get out of my comfort zone and do things I wouldn't usually do. Next question is, who's my fursuit crush? I actually have two really big ones. The first one's kind of biased because they are my best friend, and it's Akamai. Here's their suit. It's really pretty and I love the colors and I love their character, and I love how complex it looks even though it really isn't. I think the suit's really pretty and where they live is beautiful, so I love their fursuit and all their fursuit pictures. My next suit crush is Skedaddle, and again I'm kind of biased because they are a Chow, but I love how Chow-like their suit is and how big their thighs are, and I love the shape of it. And I also think that they're a really great person and I love interacting with them, and I hope to meet them at a con in the future. The next questions are my favorite experiences in fursuit and my least favorite experience in fursuit. So I guess my first one would have to be going out to festivals and parades and just kind of walking around and messing with kids, seeing parents and taking pictures. That's always really fun. My worst fursuit experience was actually at a Pride festival, and there was so many people. I believe it was 110 degrees out, so I'm just drenched inside my costume. And the worst part was, at one point, we were about to go home. We're getting ready to go home. and this drag queen, full makeup, hair, everything done drag queen, comes up behind me. I can't see. She comes up behind me and my spotter can't see her either because my spotter's like standing next to me talking. She runs up to me, she yanks my tail, like I thought my tail came off. And she whips around and she's like, "Nice tail, sweetie." And then she like tried to talk to me. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say because I was gonna be like, you almost like tore my costume up. But I wanted to be nice because I'm like a cute fluffy animal. And when she left, my spotter was like, "I almost ripped her wig off. How rude." So that was a bad experience. Next question is, what made you decide to get a fursuit, and was it worth it, and has fursuiting changed the way you view the fandom? Again, I wanted a fursuit because a lot of people had fursuits and I actually thought they were really cool to just be an animal. I think it was very worth it. You know, I love putting Chow on, seeing people's reactions, taking pictures, and seeing people like my suit, and it makes me happy that I can make other people happy by being a cute animal. After I got a fursuit, my follower count like exploded. It means a lot to me that you all really love my suit, and I'm glad that I can make you all happy with it. So next question is, how do I brush very short pile fur without getting the brush tracks in it? Honestly, I brush my suit. You know, you take the brush and you brush it backwards with the slicker brush. And the tracks that it leaves, I just take Chowder, you know, he's got this big mane. I take his head and I just shake it really hard, and that seems to get like all those little tracks out, and it makes them really floofy. So that's what I do. There's probably a better way to do it, but that's what I do. Next question is, do I mind soft suiters, and would I ever consider soft suiting myself? I don't mind soft suiting. It's not hurting anyone. You're just making those kind of pictures for that certain kind of audience. I don't think there's any harm in it. I've honestly thought about it. Definitely not with Chowder, because I think of Chowder as a very asexual being. But I'm in the process of actually making a suit that I would potentially use for those kind of things. A lot of people asked, why did I pick a Chow for Chowder? Honestly, I bought Chowder secondhand, so I bought him already made. So I didn't get to choose his species, but I really love being a Chow. I never had chubby characters before this, so this has really helped me with body positivity and being comfortable with myself. And I really like being a Chow because there's not very many other Chows and it's unique. Tying into that last one, somebody asked, why did I choose this species and name for my Sona, and do they have a backstory? So I chose Chowder because that was his secondary name. He was somebody else's fursona before this, and they had two names for him, and they didn't want me to use their actual name, so I just chose their secondary name, which was Chowder. And I thought it was kind of cute because it's Chow Chow, Chowder, you get it. And Chowder doesn't really have a backstory. He's really just kind of like a country stereotypical dude who just kind of lays back and likes to be out in the wilderness. The next person asks, how old is Chows Design? I'm not completely sure. Like I said before, I bought him pre-made. He was somebody else's fursona before mine, and I think that he was either made or commissioned in 2014, so that'll kind of tell you how old the suit is. I don't really know how old the actual character is though. If it means anything, I got him in September 2017, so I've had him for a little over a year now. Next question is, how often do I suit, and do I think it's worth how much I paid for Chowder? I think he's definitely worth it. With the amount of joy that I get out of it and the amount of joy that other people seem to get out of him, I definitely think he's worth it. I think that fursuiting is a different thing for everybody. You know, some people end up loving it, some people end up hating it. I think it depends a lot on your heat tolerance and, you know, if you get a partial versus a full suit, 3/4. I've never full suited before, and I love partialing. I do get very hot sometimes, so I don't really think that full suiting would be a thing for me, but I definitely think I'd like to get legs for Chowder eventually. But all in all, it's up to you. A couple people asked, do people mistake me for a bear? And yes, they do. The first time I ever public suited, I went to our local Comic-Con, and everybody called me a bear. Like everybody. Everybody was like, look at the bear. Oh, can I take a picture with the bear? Look at the bear. You know, everybody. And at first, I was kind of trying to tell people, I'm actually a Chow Chow dog. I'm a dog. But after a while, you know, seeing people get kind of disappointed and offended that I tried to correct them or they got it wrong, I just kind of let people believe what they want to believe, because I'm just a big animal costume. Does it really matter if they misspecies me? But yeah, I get called a bear all the time. Next question is, if Chowder could be any other species, which species would I like him to be? Honestly, I wouldn't mind him being a bear. I love bears. Bears are one of my favorite animals. I love them. And I can't really see him being any other animal. So probably a bear. Next question is, what is one species you'd like to see more of in the fandom? Honestly, I'd like to see a lot more birds. I think that making a bird suit's kind of hard, you know, getting the beak right with the eyes and the head without any ears to balance it out. But I've been seeing a lot more really cool bird suits lately, and I think that they should definitely be expanded upon. Personally, I have a bird persona as well. This is him. His name's Bug, and he's pretty cool. And I definitely think that a lot of people should try out birds. Next question is, what are Chowder's favorite hairstyles to wear with all that floof, if any? And what is their favorite outfit? Chowder doesn't really have any like hair to style. He's just got this big floof of a mane. So he kind of just tries to brush it and keep it floofy and not matted. He usually wears t-shirts with flannels or stuff like that, with blue jeans, stuff you can just throw on and go out and still look decent. Next question is, what is Chowder's favorite food? I like to think of Chowder as a very stereotypical southern dude, so he probably enjoys chicken and dumplings and fried steak and fried pickles and fried chicken. Anything fried is fair game. A couple people asked my opinions on banning or legalizing a woo. I definitely think that a wooing should be legalized. Next person asked, paws or maws? Definitely maws. Next question is, how many active characters do I have? I have my main personas, which is Chowder, of course, and Phantom, my main persona, and Bangles, my secondary kind of venti persona. And I really only have one kind of active character, and that would be Eclipse. Next questions are, what got me into art and who's my biggest inspiration in the furry fandom? Again, I got pulled into the furry fandom through Warrior Cats. So I actually would take the Warrior Cat spoofs and just like look at them and draw them my own, and I would like make them my own characters by like basically copying other people's artwork. But at that point I didn't really know any better, and I don't personally think that was a bad thing. I never posted it or claimed it as my own. I just kind of learned from drawing other people's characters and other people's screenshots and stuff. And my biggest inspiration would probably have to be my best friend Akamai. They've really come a long way from where they were when we were kids. They're such an inspiration for me art-wise and personality-wise, and the way they act and hold themselves and how they've changed as a person. If you don't know who Akamai is, I would definitely go check out their Instagram and their Twitter. I'll leave links down in the description and stuff. So definitely go check out their art. I believe that their commissions are open and they have really good art, so go look at it. Next question is, do I have any hobbies? What do I like to do with my spare time? How am I feeling today? And if I play A, C, and L, and who's my favorite characters and why? A lot of questions in that one. So first, my hobbies. I draw, of course, and I like to crochet every once in a while. And I really love reading. I'm actually reading the whole Warrior Cats set over again. I'm talking a lot about Warrior Cats lately, but they're really good books. What do I like to do with my spare time? I like to just kind of sit around and watch YouTube videos, honestly. I just kind of lay in bed and eat and watch slime videos and wilderness videos and stuff like that. How am I feeling today? I didn't have to go to work today, so that's pretty nice. I don't really know what A, C, and L is, and I'm pretty sure that you're referring to that when you ask what my favorite characters are, so I can't really answer that because I don't know what it is. Next question is, what are my favorite and least favorite colors? My favorite color is definitely green, and I don't really have a least favorite color. I used to hate yellow with a passion, but now that I've gotten Chowder, his accent color is yellow. So it's kind of grown on me. I don't mind yellow now. Next question is, do I like soda and what's my favorite type? I try not to drink soda because it doesn't make me feel very good, but I'll never pass up an Ale 8, and hold on. I actually have a bottle of it on my desk. If you don't live like near Kentucky, you probably don't know what this is, but it's like a very gingery, bubbly kind of soda. It's really good. I love it. Next question is, what is my favorite food? Sushi. Definitely sushi. Am I going to Furpocalypse? Unfortunately, no. I won't be going to really any big cons for maybe another 2 years, just because I moved out recently and I just became a manager and we're working on that, so there's a lot of personal things that are kind of keeping me from it, but maybe definitely in the future. Next question is, what do you think of the negative feedback in the community, and or what do you think are the good aspects of the fandom or the bad aspects? So about the negatives in the fandom, you know, there's going to be negatives in everything. Negatives always get pushed up a lot higher than the positives because that's what gains clicks and likes and retweets and stuff. So I definitely don't think there's as much bad as people think there is in the fandom. It's definitely there, you know, with recent events and stuff. It's definitely there. But personally, I try to keep out of it. You know, I like to be aware of the bad stuff, but it's not that good to just be so factuated on the bad stuff that you don't see the good. Because there's so many amazing artists creating and making suits and making content, and I just love supporting stuff that's positive. Next question is, what do you think about autism in the fandom? They say that they've been a furry secretly for a few years, and they came to the realization that a lot of furries are dealing with autism and other mental illnesses. And what are my thoughts? I definitely think that the furry fandom attracts more people who are cast out and have mental illnesses and stuff like that. I think mostly because you can kind of hide behind a mask, literally, and people don't really see you for your physical appearance, and you can kind of just be whoever you want to be without having to feel that people will judge you for like who you are as a person. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You know, I struggle with social anxiety, and when I'm in the suit, I feel a lot more, bubbly, and I want to talk to people and go out and do stuff. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people just find sanctuary here because we're so accepting and we all just love animals and art and creativity. So that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope that it looks alright. I'm still trying to test out my lighting with the background and where to sit, how far to put back the camera, and little tweaks like that. So hopefully I can start posting some videos more often. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.